Hello and welcome to Superhero Speak. I'm your host, Dave.
And John.
And it is Don with you again.
Yes, and JD may join us later. I don't know. He it's kind of funny because he had a busy weekend with wrestling stuff, and then he had one of the things that came about when I was thinking of the main topic for tonight was that the movie was being re-released in the theaters, and then he's like, I've got to I'm running late and I've got to take my son to go see the Phantom Menace because I promised him and I hadn't done it yet. So apparently he's currently at the movie. So let's see if he joins when he gets back. If not, we will miss him. So
It would be nice if we get the satellite link up going and we could have him, review
Live
it
on location.
Yes.
the satellite hookup. You're on the wrong show for that right now. There's no money in the coffers for that. But on that, how is everyone doing? JD, oh my God, John, how are you?
I'm doing fine. I fixed my volume so I can actually be heard this time around. I think it was last week, but my sound was
2 weeks ago, but yeah.
2 weeks ago, yeah. So I got, hopefully it worked last week too. I did a full revamp of my setup. And I'm actually going to be doing another revamp of my setup at some point, I think.
Yeah, you sound at the normal level when you're on. It was actually, one of the people was Joey from So Wizard, messaged me and he's like, dude, I can't hear John in the latest episode and it's ruining my commute.
Well, we sent him the special stream, so.
I did adjust the volume when I posted the audio version, but the live stream you can't change it. So after it's published, so
that's kind of horrible, actually.
Like other videos, you can you can edit the video and re-upload it. But the live streams, it's like once they're up, they're up. I could take it down and upload it as a new separate video, but then we lose any live counts and anything like that. So,
well, other than that, work's got me down a little bit, but I don't know, nothing else to really report on right now. I got nothing. So while
did you watch X-Men '97? That's what I need to know. That's what I'm just gonna.
Oh, you mean the finale?
Well, it's not the finale yet. We got 2 more episodes, but are you caught up?
No, I'm not. I just hey, I referred to my previous statement of work has got me down.
I know, but just out of all the shit content that you put yourself through, to actually have something good there.
Oh man, are you calling? And are you calling? Was it reincarnated as a slime bad content? Really?
Yeah, no, I can't because I haven't actually seen it. But just all the bad movies and stuff, and yeah, I fear that we lost Dave. So I guess we'll carry the torch here. But
Dave was lost a long time ago. Anyway, go ahead.
But just all the bad movies and stuff that you've watched here for the podcast, and Ice Pirates and stuff like that. Here you have a genuine thing that I think you will enjoy, and you're just letting it sit there. I get it work. I can't bitch at you too much, but
hey, Ice Pirates was a gem. Okay, Ice Pirates is something that every geek and nerd should go through watching just once. Just first to know where the low bar is, and second to know how far below that low bar you can go.
Right on. I get it.
It's knowing, yes, there is a low point where it's actually funny again. But yeah, I know. I will catch up on it at some point. And one other thing I wanted to catch up on is, and I don't think we're not gonna talk about that this week. Maybe we'll talk about it next week. Is Tales of the Empire? That came out, and I don't even think it should have been on our radar. But so we'll take a look.
Oh yeah, no, I will definitely. Yeah, for sure myself. I don't think it's out yet.
I'm looking at it right now on Disney Plus.
Okay,
Tales of the Empire. There's 6 episodes.
Okay, I gotta watch that because I think
And
it
the
looks
ver-
good.
and the very first one has what is that guy who has like the six swords? He's mostly
General
robot.
Grievous.
General
General
Grievous.
Grievous.
Yeah. So, and then the second one looks like it's Thrawn. So it looks like it's a quite a lineup of episodes
Yeah.
here.
Yeah, they're definitely throwing a lot of the popular characters out there to get you hooked into that series.
I know, and I can't
Really
wait to talk
great.
about it because like, what am I base up? And you can tell me if I'm off. I'm filling time until Dave comes back.
Sure.
Like, wh- I re- I remember when the I can remember when the trailers played in the movie theater. I don't remember what movie I was watching, but I remember when the trailer came on for Phantom Menace before the movie started, and I remember the audience like actually like going wild, like love. I remember and then Jar Jar Binks.
Oh man, see, yeah, we're gonna have to talk about that, dude. I think you and a lot of people throw a little bit too much hate on that character, but we'll definitely talk about that later. But like you're saying, though, I know people that would straight buy movie tickets to whatever movie was showing that trailer just to go see the trailer. So I mean, it really was a huge moment
Yeah, it was.
when it comes to Star Wars.
Yeah, the thought I had though is that I'm rewatching Phantom Menace, and I'm seeing and now I'm looking at these the Tales of the Empire, and then all the other stuff they put out, and it's like
Acolyte's going to be coming out soon.
yeah, and it's like it started at a high note with the first trilogy, and then dropped down a little bit with the second trilogy, and come on, the third trilogy, man. I mean, but but we're going
I'm not
straight
the
up.
audience for that, buddy. I'm not the audience for that. I think there's special
somehow
things about all
Palpatine-
of them.
Somehow Palpatine returned.
He
Anyway,
sure
but,
did. A whole bunch of shit happened for that to go down,
I
and they're
know.
just now getting into it.
But now, but that's only because Filoni is saving their ass by filling in the blanks.
Perhaps.
I mean, first was it Favreau and saved Luke Skywalker
With the Mandalorian.
and but so we're going way back up. Like the quality of stuff that we're getting is awesome, and I love it. So yeah, but anyway,
There's a lot to love.
This was a small little diatribe that I fit into how I'm doing. How are you doing, Don? While we're waiting for Dave to come back.
I'm eating good right now as far as with the X-Men 97. Again, I really can't wait for you to enjoy that. And obviously Phantom Menace for me I love Phantom Menace, and we'll get all in about that. Took my kids to see it, so that was enjoyable. And what's funny is I saw that on Friday night, and so I was actually able to turn a negative into a positive because this week was supposed to be me running my Star Wars tabletop RPG game.
Oh, nice.
And unfortunately, we had too many people call off. That I'm like, okay, if I don't have at least 3 people at the table other than myself, we'll start. We'll push it off. And that's fun because
I've been in DD sessions like that. Yep.
Yeah. And it's like you work so hard on the campaign and stuff that it's kind of disappointing, but people have lives. So as at that point, I'm like, okay, I'm just going to go see the Phantom Menace then. And, the wife was like, oh, well, let's all go. I was just going to take the girls, but the wife's like, hey, let's all go. And we did. And it was great. And, like I said, I can't get too much into that. We'll talk about that later, but it's just, and outside of that, I got a hot tub today, which for free. All I had to do was rent a U-Haul trailer. So apparently people give stuff away for free, and just for the hassle of you coming to get it and moving it. So that's nice. We'll we'll fix it up, and we'll have us a nice little thing there.
Should have led with that. That's the high point right there, man. New hot tub, hell. Oh, I dream of that. But there's no room in this house that I'm still trying to fix up. So,
Kassan has a question. Now, I can't bring it up like Dave because I have no control over the show here. Me and John are literally on a glider in the air, hoping it stays.
pretty much.
But so Kassan says, question, Don, do the third trilogy stand on their own? Also, do the third trilogies have consistent story threads and interlogic? So I will answer that by saying no. I don't think any Star Wars trilogy stands on its own. You could say the first one does, right? Because it was the only one for a while and it was all that we knew. But I'm the type of Star Wars fanatic that thinks everything else that came out around it, after it, prequels, sequels, really fed a lot of energy into the original trilogy, and you can stand the characters and the situations that much more. So your second question: do the third trilogies have consistent story threads and I can't interwoven logic? I guess I don't know, I'm sorry. It's a little heart emoji for some reason is cutting that off. But for that, I would say maybe. I don't think I'm quite that smart enough of a movie watcher. I will admit I am a simpleton when it comes to movies and stories where you can get me by doing the thing, if that makes sense.
Doing the thing.
Right, do the thing. Oh, cool. You know,
They did the thing. Member
you know,
berries.
I think a lot of people they don't like the sequel trilogy, particularly The Last Jedi, which again I happen to like a lot. But it wasn't like the Luke Skywalker we were all expecting, and I get that. And I always point to the fact that you can see that Luke Skywalker in the comics. In fact, there's a comic series. It's a 4-issue series. It's basically Road to Force Awakens, where Luke does some badass shit. Very much so like we saw him do in The Mandalorian. So what's even cool is in that series, you're introduced to Poe Dameron's parents, and it gives more backstory into, or at least more explanation, like why is Poe Dameron like the ultimate fucking pilot that ever lived? Well, because in this mission, Luke went to get force trees, 2 of them, in fact, from the Empire, an old Imperial regiment. They had 2 force trees, so he got both of them, and he's okay. One's gonna go planted by the new Jedi Academy, but the other one, hey, Poe Dameron's parents, here you go. Why don't you plant that? So Poe Dameron grew up next to a forest tree. So Poe Dameron is absolutely force sensitive, hence why he is does the crazy shit that he does with the ships in the Force Awakens. So, and for those of you that may be watching, really, he likes the trilogy. I really like the Kylo Ren character. I know he's a whiny person, but that's funny to me. Because it makes sense. He's like he's the son of Leia and Han Solo, Uncle's Luke Skywalker. Shit's gonna go down with this dude. And it does. So yeah, man, I don't know. I like the sequel trilogies. Not saying they're perfect, because I won't say any Star Wars is perfect. But when I consume Star Wars, which I now do with a family, and I see that they're enjoying it because they're not caught up in all this, what Star Wars should be, what story we should have told, because I've seen how, like John is kind of, the prequel trilogy, it was okay, but went down. I remember all the hate that prequel trilogy got, and now to see it come full circle where everyone, I won't say everyone, but a lot of people online trash talk the sequel trilogy and now say, oh, how genius the original prequels were. Oh, we want George Lucas back. Did you forget we used to complain because we wanted George Lucas to stop fucking with the original trilogy, and that's all he really ever wanted to do?
Or that he thought Jar Jar Binks was going to be the most important character because this is the funniest. This is the funniest character we've ever had on Star Wars. This is going to be big. Oh no!
Yeah, I gotta save my my retort because until I don't know if we actually get to, we'll see what happens there. Dave must really be struggling there.
He is. I'm in contact with him.
Okay, gotcha.
He's working on it.
All right. Because again, when I first saw the Phantom Menace 25 years ago, I was literally a month away from graduating, almost 19 years old. Saw it by myself in the theater because I was such a fanatic for the real Star Wars. And this time, I got to take my family, my kids, and believe me, I studied how are they reacting to this. And I'm telling you, and that's all I'm going to say about that. I'm going to come from it at that angle, like as far as like, Star Wars being for kids, it kind of is.
You know, it's crazy that it came out 25 years ago, 1999.
Mm-hmm.
Holy moly! I mean,
Just
talk about
getting out of
making me
high
feel old.
school. I could bench press 300 pounds back then. Now, not so much.
I was running half marathons back then. So,
All right, well,
yeah,
John, what do you? I mean, we want to try moving along here, or I mean, like I said, I don't
we'll
really
move
have control.
we'll move a little bit
Okay.
and see. Dave is having laptop troubles. His battery died and he can't get the laptop started again. So you know, unlike let's watch some X-Men 97 to get John caught up. You know, I've been toying around thinking about doing there are so many reactors on YouTube, and I've been thinking about doing maybe some reactions. It's hard to set up because you have to. Oh God, you can only show so much of the actual show. There are some times where you have to destroy the sound because all these companies are constantly trolling YouTube
Yeah.
for literally any like two notes that might be in something that they own, and they'll claim it even if it's not theirs at all. Like
I stopped our Dragon Ball Z abridged reactions on the Omega Level Nerds channel because
really?
they had a major problem with that. From us, apparently Team Four Star kind of dealt with that, and they've had to change their music. But and it's Toei. It's not from them. Like, when I look at the copyright claims, it's from Toei. So
Oh
I
yeah,
don't
no.
really.
The Japanese do not screw around when it comes to copyright, and Toei Animation has historically really been horrible with that. And they don't have like the rights that we have in the U.S. While anemic, are at least something that they do not have in Japan at all. Like they copyright claim anything there. There is no fair use there. Okay, so I hate to say this, but Dave says that his battery isn't even charging. So I think we're going to have to bag it now and try this again some other time. It's been a while since we've had real technical difficulties.
Yeah.
You know, so I wish there was something I could do about that. Oh God, Sony putting in a bid for Paramount. Kazan says, let's talk about something out of left field.
Yeah.
What do you think about Sony putting in a bid for Paramount? I'm willing to talk a little bit if you want, Don, and then we'll just bag
Yeah.
it. Sony putting in a bid for Paramount. I think it's time for the current administration to really set their foot down on antitrust. They're having enough problems with Ticketmaster right now, having too many of these. I think one of the problems we have in film today is that there aren't enough independent places now that have enough money to put out something that can challenge the big guys. The big guys keep snarfing up everybody, and we are in this really big consolidation mode right now, with some of the streaming services being consolidated in that. But it's we don't want to get to another Ticketmaster issue where there's like 2, maybe 3 studios that control everything, and then they're telling the movie chains what they can do, or they buy the movie chains. Like, it has to stop somewhere. So we don't want the studios to be like Ticketmaster, a monopoly and a monopsony, which means that they're the only buyer and seller, which means they literally control everything. So
Unfortunately, that seems to be the goal, though, right? I mean, with this push for content and these streaming services, at some point, it's really going to be down to like 3. It's going to be Disney, whatever Sony, Paramount, whatever that, turns out to be, maybe Netflix. I think Disney and Netflix are pretty strongly situated, with Netflix having um, just a groundwork for years done. Disney, with all the content and power they have, like, it really, to me, is who is going to emerge. And I put Hulu with Disney, by the way. So
Hulu's going to merge into Disney at some point.
yeah.
I think they're, you know, I mean, that's usually been their outlet for, we don't want this associated with the Disney name, but we still own it, so we have Hulu. You know, and then Amazon.
It's got to be like,
Amazon's never going anywhere because
yeah.
Bezos just has too much money. He's willing to lose on. I mean, just going
by
by the
You think he'll buy like DC? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, if there's going to be like a big three in streaming, which is what I think is going to happen. Kazan says Hulu content is already showing Disney Plus. Yep.
Yeah.
And the Deadpool's, all that. Yeah, exactly. But if they're going to have a big three, like I think they will, like it'll be DC. Sony. I don't know, Sony and DC. Spider-Man with DC.
Okay, I pay to see that. I mean, there's Hulk versus Superman. I mean,
Yeah.
I mean, once Hulk is Hulk. No, some of the rights are still gone, or is it
Universal? Yeah, I don't know the ins and outs of that one. Like, I just think they'll just not ever make a solo Hulk movie and get around it, and that works for that character. I mean, I know there's comic books, obviously, with just the Hulk, but I don't know. To me, the Hulk works better as a part of an ensemble. But
I know. Well, now
there's deeper lore and stuff.
Yeah, but now we're dying to see a Wolverine versus Hulk because that's that was a big thing, and now they're both under the same umbrella. But I would rather. Yeah, Amazon bought MGM a while back, I think, wasn't it? I think I wouldn't like to see it consolidated. I don't want to see it consolidated anymore. I mean, like, some of these places were working on internet startup rules, and that's the problem that all these streaming services had, was that they were, venture capitalists were just throwing bags of money at them, and then when the pandemic rolled around and the economy started to tank, basically the venture capitalists said, okay, well, we need to see some of that money because things are getting tight. And all the streaming services like, so Netflix is like, all right, we're no longer going to allow you to sign in from a different IP address, right. With the same account. Everybody has to pay, every IP address is the address on the internet. Every household needs to have their own account now. And several other the streaming services were also doing some really interesting things. And then was it Crunchyroll Sony bought Crunchyroll, and then now they bought the other one. Was it? I forget what the other streaming service is now.
Well, Funimation is done.
Right.
That's gonna be the other thing. Like, yeah, you really would think. Well, I don't know. I think Hulu's gonna end up being. I think Hulu's gonna, Bezos. I think he's gonna end up taking the anime stuff. You can already see that. All the. Well, let me word this correctly. All the mainstream anime, it seems like, is on Hulu.
Actually, the mainstream anime? No. Mainstream anime is on Crunchyroll, and surprisingly, Disney has some really, really good anime. But if you look at all their social media and everything, you wouldn't know it because they bury it. They don't say word one about any of the anime, and they have some of the best anime.
Right.
So yeah, but all that consolidation and everything. Drew is very adamant. Don, how does Bastion original compare in '97 to the comics? He was a technopath mutant in the comics?
Um, you know, I it's very similar because really Bastion is really kind of a mix. Although he was a human, air quotes per se, with the name of Sebastian, hence Bastion. Um, but he is kind of the Master Mold and Nimrod kind of being put together. Although if you go by the House of X powers of 10, Nimrod basically seems to be a little bit more important because when he comes online, the mutants in that timeline, they get they're done, they're extinct, or well, the ones that are living are in cages. But it's pretty close. I mean, I'll just say that there's absolutely a little bit differences there, and I couldn't bump above the. But yeah, it's pretty darn close. Yeah. As far as like him getting the or his dad getting the techno organic virus, that seems to be the biggest deviation. I don't quite remember that. But it's been a long time since I read that. So that's my answer. It's pretty close, but not exactly. But he was still pretty much like, yeah, a human being mutated. They're kind of stretching that a little bit because, yeah, he's like human machine hybrid. It's crazy shit. Bump above emoji.
You know what? Dave said that his laptop turned on. I'm waiting to hear.
All right.
Why don't we get social media madness out of the way?
Yeah, here we go.
Might as well do that. So,
I don't remember him hearing machines. No, actually, that you bring that up, Drew. I do actually remember thinking that, like, huh. Yeah, no, I'm with you on that. I don't remember that ever. But again, it's admittedly been a long time since the last thing I read with Bastion, and it was like an old X-Force. I say old X-Force, but it was the X-Force run that was around at the time of the Astonishing X-Men when the mutants were in Utopia, and they had their secret forces. The X-Force kills people. That's why it's Wolverine, Wolfsbane, and John Proudstar. Anywho, yeah, social media madness. Oh, and I can't access it on my end, so it's on you, buddy.
Okay, so let's see. Will the first question we had was, will the death of the MCU kill cons? And let's see. Drew Carlson, fan of the show, friend of the show. I don't think the MCU ends Comic Cons. I don't think if the MCU ends, Comic Cons will follow. Superheroes and nerd stuff are a part of the cultural zeitgeist. They may become smaller, but I don't think they'll go away. If San Diego were to go away, there would probably be 3 new, more special. I forgot to hit some. 3 new, more specialized cons. The individual companies would probably also do it themselves, like D23 and Hasbro's PulseCon. Yeah, I mean, they like Comic Cons. Our society has embraced geekdom, so even if the MCU dies, there's always other fandoms. There's plenty of other fandoms to drive a con, and there's always the base part comic books. So,
see, I've never been to a Comic-Con. I do kind of want to start going to like promote my YouTube or whatever, but it's not something I've ever actually experienced before. I know that there's always this talk about it going further and further away from comics, and I do think the MCU kind of helped with that a little bit, because I do think now they're more pop cons than they are Comic Cons. But that's me saying that without ever actually experiencing it. But I know cosplay is big. I don't see that going away.
no.
I think cosplay alone could probably sustain. Plus, I remember Tim Jones commented on this subject on Dave's Facebook, and he kind of talked about the brotherhood, the family aspect of it with the creators.
Allow me to read his comment on this. Tim Jones, I don't think so at all. Cons are a family to me. I mean, cons got more popular when the MCU excitement started in 2018, and I think they will continue to grow. Nothing sour about that. Thank you, Tim Jones. Sour Grapes, the comic, available in finer newspapers and other media outlets all over.
And I've had the
Love you,
pleasure
Tim.
of voicing Aesop. So yeah, absolutely, Tim. Love you as always. Here's Dave.
Can you guys hear me?
We
Yes, we
can.
can.
Okay. I hate
Kind of a little
computers.
far away, but
So what I miss?
We're going through Media Madness. I was just looking for the comment on Pride of the X-Men graphic novel.
Oh, it's
yeah, I
on.
totally missed that one. Yeah. I wish I knew that.
Maybe we'll review that someday.
Drew wants me to bring the family to Phoenix Fan.
The X-Men
Yeah,
look cooler than the Avengers is one of the things on social media madness. No, you're right.
You weren't here last week. That was a comment that JD made on the show, and then what the software I use to create clips picked that one, and I posted it. I don't have my email open at the moment.
But there's so many. I mean, there's so many different iterations of the X-Men and the Avengers. So
yeah, but JD's right. They always look cooler than the Avengers. They
yeah,
always.
you agreed last week too.
I mean, yeah.
I mean, come
Okay.
on, like Captain America with his blue scales and his little wings on his head and his,
Yeah,
red
yeah.
boots. Come on, I just gotta stop with the Captain America hate because I don't want to make Dave mad. But
Exactly.
still,
So as Don has so saliently spoken up and said, we're done with social media madness, Dave. We can move on.
What?
So yeah, we're done.
You covered it all? Is that
Yes, we covered. Yes, we definitely covered it all.
liar?
No, I'm not. I'm not
Yes,
lying.
kinda did.
I
There's only
read
the three,
everything that
yeah.
was on here.
All right, and I a very important question, and I don't want anyone watching the show to be upset. Have you been going through the comments as well, and
Yes.
displaying them? Oh, okay.
I had. Well, I
not
read.
displaying them.
No, we can't display them. You didn't. You never gave us that power.
Oh, if you just click on the comments thing, and then when the comments are there, you and JD have this power. You just click on the comment, and look, it pops up on the screen.
I
then you-
don't. I don't have that power. I'm
With
doing
great
it now.
power comes great responsibility, Dave.
Yes, along with a paycheck. This is not a power I've ever gotten.
Okay. Well, I am glad. I'm glad that you. I'm shocked that you would even attempt to do social media madness. To be honest.
But it's done. It's definitely done. I read Tim Jones's comment. That's really all we need, right?
Yes, that's the key comment always.
And Drew's too. So hey.
Hey, that's all we need.
We
Oh,
haven't
wait,
talked-
look, Drew says they've been very good, Dave.
Yeah, we even talked about stuff that Kassan Ward actually suggests. So I think we've covered our bases here. We can move on.
Fine, I'll trust you right now. Yeah, okay, so a little behind the scenes, my MacBook has been acting up for the last couple of weeks. The battery hasn't been charging fully, and then it just died while I was after we started the show, and I kept plugging in it. I kept it plugged in for a while. I kept pushing the button, and it wasn't doing anything. Then all of a sudden, it just turned on its own, and the battery is slowly charging. So I hate Macs.
I could tell you the technical reason for that, but for those of you out there that experience a battery that's dead, plug your machine in, wait 5 minutes, then try turning it on.
Right. Yeah.
Sometimes these things have a threshold in what's called the BIOS that will
and
disallow it from turning on until there's a certain amount of power stored.
I don't
Don't know why.
I don't think Macs have a CMOS battery either. So, yeah. So like, think when the battery's dead until it charges a little bit, it won't turn on. So,
Hey, y'all taking me back to college. Talking about CMOS batteries and BIOS.
So anyway, Dave,
Post process.
I think
oh, I kept dragging them into the conversation until you returned. Oh, I love you, Kassan. Thank you. Uh, all right. Well, since that's it for social media madness, I'm not going to bother doing the inappropriate joke of the week. Let's But if you want to know how you can follow us on social media, follow some other great podcasts, and be part of social media madness for next week, hopefully this problem resolves itself completely. Here's Don to tell you more.
Enjoying the show? Do you want to be part of Social Media Madness? Well, head on over to superheroespeak.com where you'll find links to all of our social media. You'll also find comic reviews by Chris, some old comic reviews by yours truly, the show itself, lots of good stuff that we're posting on there all the time. So make sure and check that out. And speaking of checking things out, of course, Superhero Speak is part of the Geek World All Stars podcast network. Great shows like the Pop Prison Power podcast, Colt 45, Fans on Patrol, That's So Wizard, the Gorilla Brain podcast, and of course, Superhero Speak. Hashtag GW All Stars, and you will not be disappointed. So make sure that you're going on the X app or whatever social media that you are enjoying. Watch for our post and make sure and interact with it. Have lots and lots of fun. All right. Well, I think I've wasted enough time. I think John has cleaned the whiskey off of his My Little Pony mouse pad. So let's head back to the show.
It's a good thing those mouse pads are easy to clean.
Oh man, you didn't see that. You were here last week, so
technically the whiskey. Technically, the whiskey that I drink disinfected the mouse pad. So
well, there you go.
Well, it's a good thing because last show JD suggested that my joke was a euphemism for you masturbating onto your mouse pad.
Okay, so then there goes the.
There's the inappropriate joke for the week for you, Dave. Yep.
You gotta warn me so I can take my headphones out. Okay.
Drew says, "Who cares about Phantom Menace? More 97 with Dave and Don. Magneto was right. Oh yeah. Did you guys get to that?"
Well, he didn't watch it, so obviously I, told him my disdain for that fact. Because first and foremost, I'm a Superhero Speak fan, right? With JD, Dave, and
John.
And so if I was on the other end and I tuned in and you didn't watch it, I would be disappointed. So that's all I'm saying. Your opinion matters, John. And I also said to him, Dave, that all the crap that he's probably watched, right? Like Ice Pirates and shit like that. Like this is like a Christmas present. This is like your Super Nintendo just waiting under the tree for you, right? Back in 1992. And you're just like, yeah. But again, you said work. So that's the ultimate shield I cannot break through. I get it. You're an adult.
Well, yeah. Besides, I think this week, I'm going to be wanting to go through like Tales of the Empire, which we should review, Dave, next week. If we don't have anything.
About that.
Yeah, that's out, and then I've got the second. Was it part 2 of Justice League Crisis, the animated show, the movie? I just got that DVD or Blu-ray in the mail. So.
Yeah, the last episode was a banger. Magneto displayed his Omega level. Yeah, I thought.
Well, in Speedos.
I thought that was. And I know that he did stuff like that in the comics before, but I thought that was like ingenious. He goes to North Pole, and he turns off all the electricity on the planet.
Well, he does a mini blip, right? He does like a blip light, right? Because we didn't talk about this because John didn't watch it.
It's okay. Go ahead. I'll watch it.
It was more like a worldwide EMP, in my opinion.
Well, sure, but it looked like half the population was now Prime Sentinels, which he just killed.
Oh my god!
For good reason.
That way.
Everyone in a plane dead. Everyone in an elevator dead.
Yeah, I mean it's funny.
Anybody on the operating table
dead.
Anybody with anybody in the ICU.
If you're on an escalator, though,
in the ICU, preemies.
If you're on an escalator, you're fine. Escalators never break. They only become stairs with little signs that say, sorry for the convenience. That's a Mitch Hedberg joke. Enjoy. But
Oh, I remember being somewhere one time when my son was little, and I mean, like 9, 10, and the escalator was broken, and he just kept calling it manual escalator, and I'm like, or you could just say stairs, and he went, oh. um,
Escalators do not break; they just become stairs.
and
But
I can't think of the creator's name again, of X-Men '97. Like someone asked him,
DeMeo.
DeMeo. Someone asked him on social media, so like, are we to believe that people in planes and all that and getting operations and all are just dead now? And he just replied, "Yep." So it's like, yeah. I mean, it's funny too because people don't talk. There's never been talk about that in the MCU. That like when things were blipped, if you were in a plane, or if the pilot was blipped in a plane, those people are probably dead. If
m-
okay,
most shows, most science fiction fantasy shows, just gloss over the when they do a power loss like that.
yeah,
They always gloss over the tens of thousands, maybe hundreds of thousands of people that died because all power was lost.
right. So yeah, I mean, it was an amazing episode, really, when you think about it. It was
Well, the Nightcrawler and Wolverine action scenes, um, and
Nightcrawler's
then the
always cool.
Summers. Well, imagine Nightcrawler with a sword in each hand and one on his tail, fighting alongside Wolverine. Like it's awesome. Imagine Wolverine falling from the sky, and as he's falling, all these Prime Sentinels are flying at him, and as they get near him, he's
and
just spinning
slicing
around with
and
his
dicing.
fucking blade. It's John. Please, buddy, watch
I,
the show.
I will.
It'll bring happiness to you.
Eh, anime brings happiness to me too, but I will do this. I will do this for you. I will watch it. An interesting comment that Drew had, and again I can't bring them up, but
Oh,
Drew was
this one?
talking about. Yeah, Drew was talking about Tales of the Empire. I think he said 2 episodes in and meh. So it'll be interesting if we should review that. At
Yeah.
least talk about it
I mean,
next week.
yeah, I'm definitely gonna watch a couple of the episodes because I'm interested. And
And then we could get like, and then Drew can tell us just how much he didn't
hates
like
it.
it, or yeah. I mean, the first 2 plates on the first 2 episodes, their plates have General Grievous on the first one and Thrawn on the second. If those first two are meh, oh boy. I mean, and we were just talking about how I would thought that the quality was going up. So now I'm interested. Now I really want to watch those and see what's going on with them.
All right. Well,
Any,
real quick to get
yep.
back on track. First off, Don, do you want to tell us what's going on with Omega Level Nerds? Anything new coming out? Any special episodes?
Well, I mean,
There's
obviously, each and every week we're doing X-Men 97. Of
Hmm.
course, this week, usually I do a couple of topics, 2, 3 topics of the show, but this week it was all one topic. It was
Just
X-Men
yeah.
97. And that's because we're doing kind of a new format where we will look at it at a couple different ways. So, definitely check that out. But me and Jay, we need to get together because the Bad Batch is done, and it really ended in an unexpected way, and we haven't talked about it yet, so we're going to. But that's about it, man. We're yeah, once a week we're back to just. But again, right now we're fueled by X-Men 97.
Yeah.
But there's plenty of Star Wars stuff coming out. And yeah, so please, if you can, spare a moment because we're trying to get past the hater rhythm. Because basically, if you're on YouTube and you talk shit about stuff, that's what the algorithm picks up.
Yeah,
We
yeah,
don't just want to talk; we want to be a little bit positive about stuff. So please, Omega Level Nerds, like and subscribe, all that jazz. But yeah, but X-Men is a big thing right now because my partner is not an X-Men or was not an X-Men fan. He was more an Avengers guy because the X-Men had too many characters for him. But now he's into it; he's loving it, and so there you go. Come check it out.
You can argue that the Avengers has had, and if you haven't been reading it for years, has had almost as many members in its roster as the X-Men have. You know,
Mm-hmm.
so yeah, to
I
say,
agree.
I mean, yeah, if you know the 7 from the movies, that's not too bad. But yeah, I mean, it's just It's crazy when you think about it. All right. Well, we're going to take a quick commercial break and come back and do some news stories, maybe kind of quickly, but let's see. All right. We'll be right back.
Some podcasts are like this.
So I had in the car. So Helen Keller. So apparently someone said that she flew a plane.
Is that right?
Yeah. And I'm like,
well, how does she fly
no.
a plane? How does she fly a plane if she's hiding in the closet? What? How does Helen Keller? What? What?
You were. Shut up. Shut up.
She got. Did she? I thought she get. Did she get free and then fly the plane?
Oh my god. Oh my god.
What is happening right now?
There was like a live audience, and I could ask them, does he even deserve? Does he even deserve me to continue? Oh my god. I'll give you one more chance. Helen Keller. What is she known for?
She wrote a book in the attic.
That's Anne Frank. Helen Keller's the woman that was blind and deaf.
And some podcasts are like this.
DC Talk used to have this song that was like, we're just two honks and a Negro serving the Lord.
What? You lying? Hold on for a second. Hold on for a second.
Break it down.
When you really break it down,
we're just two honks and a Negro serving the Lord. We're just two honks and a Negro singing our song.
Bruh. See what I'm saying? See what I'm saying?
But only one podcast is where you can get in-depth analysis like this.
And murder them like they are getting like emulted, like they're being burned the fuck alive.
Yeah. They are literally turning to ash
It was Thanos snap. They're like,
but it was two butt cheeks instead.
Yeah, two butt cheeks of our Lord.
Thanos clapping.
So
you are now listening to Cult 45.
This is Beat 'em Down.
And I'm Random Randy Savage.
Find us on all your podcatching apps like Podbean or Spotify. And follow us on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. Or just go to www.cult45podcast.com.
Also, check out our YouTube for that sweet video content.
Cult 45, the only podcast that puts hair on your chest.
All right. You know, that's the one you can't make too many comments about.
So let's not move on.
At least these three honks.
So,
oh my god, I looked that video up on YouTube. It's from the Arsenio Hall show, and oh my, it's the cringiest thing you've ever seen.
Sure.
A lot of things from around that time were pretty cringy.
So yesterday was May 4th. So May the 4th.
And today is Revenge of the Sith. Fifth.
Revenge of the Fifth. You almost had it done.
Almost.
If it wasn't Sunday night at 9:30.
They released a new trailer for The Acolyte on the 4th. And I want to hear what you guys think, but this actually made me way more excited for the show. So, what do you guys think? John, did you watch it?
It looks interesting. It really does. Yeah, I watched it. And I don't know. You know, like we've done. I mean, after 11 years of this, we've seen so many really good trailers.
Yeah.
You know, especially like Zack Snyder's trailers are like, oh, this is gonna be awesome, and then we go watch the movie, and it's like, oh, this is crap.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it looks good. It has some of the beats of like a nice little mystery of them trying to figure out what the hell's going on and the Sith showing up. So, I'm interested. I want to see it. Yeah, there's a little bit of trepidation there, but
well, the trailer also made me question a line that is in the Phantom Menace, but we'll get to that when we start talking about that.
Are you talking about that bitch Ki-Adi-Mundi, aren't you? We're talking about the millennia being extinct, or the Sith being extinct.
Yes. yes, yes.
Yeah, that motherfucker Kiara Mundi said that shit.
Sith confirmed.
And what about you, Don? What did you think?
Oh, boy, come on, man. This shit slaps harder than my mama after we broke the bed doing wrestling moves back in the day. Whoa! Shit. See all the cool shit in this trailer. Oh, my God. And it makes... It's even more, and it makes me even think that people are more ridiculous because obviously online people talk woke. Like, come on, man! Just because it's got female and people of color characters, man, this shit is gonna be fucking awesome.
No,
Stop all the hate.
We've had female
Are people
Jedi
really
since
saying that?
99.
Somehow on my Twitter, people are like, "Star Wars is dead." Like, why? Oh, the Acolyte. Like, why?
Because Star Wars has the most toxic fandom of all online.
I know, and I do try and ignore that shit because obviously this is going to be fucking great, and people are shit talking it, and it just makes you look dumb and racist.
Really have the most toxic? Like, who has the most toxic? You got me. Sorry, I'm thinking about who has the most toxic fandom.
In my opinion,
League of Legends. I mean, other than that.
In my opinion,
besides the Eagles in Philadelphia,
it's in my opinion, it's pop culture wise, it's the 3 different generations of Star Wars fans, because the original trilogy, the prequels, and then the sequels, because we even fight amongst ourselves about the movies, and then I think a strong number 2 is the Zack Snyderverse fans.
Oh, right? Yeah, no, they are completely toxic.
Yeah. You can't say a single thing against those movies.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. And they're bots, too.
The Snyder bots. So, I mean, yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I'm kind of curious how they're going to end the series. Is like everyone that deals with this Sith get killed?
That's exactly what should happen, because I know you're referencing, again, that line, the Sith have been extinct for millennia. So that does suggest that everyone that encounters this... Now, again, we haven't seen if he actually says he's a Sith. But if he does, no more Trinity Jedi.
Oh,
so,
she's good, too. She's like... she looks like
she's good, but she don't seem... Right. Fodder.
Yeah. Yeah.
Even people of green color.
Right, like you can't sit there and say like, "Oh my God, Star Wars is woke." Like, okay, we got fucking Wookiees, we got fucking Hutts, we got space wizards. Like, you
got
can't
freaking
say,
ET. You've
right?
got ET in there.
Yeah, there's nothing that you could say can't be in the universe.
I think what's interesting about the comments too is like, there's a bunch of different Jedi in the what you call it, the preview. So it's like, who are you against? And like Star Wars, especially the original trilogy, was known for a long time of having a strong female lead. Like, this is nothing new in Star Wars, so why people are getting upset, it makes no sense. So
anybody, okay.
Well, it doesn't make any sense, man, because I don't know, this is just me. I can just transport myself back to like 1986 or 1990, where it's like, we'll never see new Star Wars content outside of the extended universe novels and maybe that fucking Shadows of the Empire game with Dash Rendar. Like, that was all the new Star Wars we got. Now we're not only getting new movies, but we're getting great shows on Disney Plus. Like, this is everything that we ever wanted as Star Wars fans. So I just don't get it at all. Great.
People who complain about people of color and trans people and women being represented in Star Wars are the same people who complain about X-Men being too political. No, I mean, it's like, again, they obviously do not understand
X-Men
at all.
was created as an allegory for the civil rights movement. So
right,
that drives me nuts if you don't get that.
Yeah, exactly. It's those people just do not understand what they're watching. They want to see something cool. They don't want something that challenges their preconceptions, and they obviously don't actually love the media because they don't understand it. they just don't understand what drives it at all.
I love Kassan's comment here. The issue, as I understand it, is the higher focus on contemporary issues highlighted in a world where that shouldn't have to address these issues. Like you said, all colors and genders exist. Right, like
Yoda.
Why are you making that an
Come on.
issue, right? Because that's the world. They exist. So
They got motherfucking space whales that can go light speed naturally. And we're going to talk about... Oh, my God.
all right. I included this because I wanted one more Star Wars story, and I might end up buying this. Home Depot, have those animatronic holiday.
They're getting more and
characters
more
you can buy.
elaborate. Yeah.
Yes. They now have a 7-foot tall, so I think that would probably be accurate size, Darth Vader for Halloween, and he's holding a pumpkin that looks like the Death Star.
Oh my God.
What did you think? I thought that was cool. Some people might think it's silly, but I don't care. I love Darth Vader and I love animatronic toys.
$300. This is happening. Okay, trick or treaters, if you come to Oakwood Drive here, you're gonna see Darth Vader on my lawn holding the pumpkin.
$300.
I've actually, that's it. I've actually carved a pumpkin in that fashion too. So that's got a nice to it. Because I'm not a Halloween guy, but this.
Drew's offended by space whales. All right. John, I think you're gonna have two, one on each side of the garage.
No, I don't know.
Great idea, Dave.
I mean, no, Don, you haven't seen I have a smoke machine and all this other stuff set up on my. I mean, I don't know that would go with the rest of the decor. If they had a giant dragon for each side, maybe, or an ogre or something, and they actually
they got dragons?
the skeletons. They've got 20-foot tall skeletons. So,
Right.
and we're talking about Halloween in May. So
that was even said in the article. Like, if you're
now?
If you're thinking this is too much, everyone bought giant 10-foot or 20-foot skeletons the last couple of years. Like, just go buy it.
I'll dress up as Obi-Wan and fight it. That's what I'll do.
No, what you do is you take a picture of the little, 7-year-old kid that comes up as a Jedi, and you get a picture of them with it. So,
we can do that. I got 2 of them running around here, 7 and 9.
There you go. All right. Now to get a little more serious, something that people of my generation, I think, have wanted for a while. So we'll see if it actually happens. But there's going to be a new Masters of the Universe film, and it's like they gave a release date of June 5th, 2026. So we're talking 2 years away, but like if they're giving it a release date, they're going to actually make it. And I don't know, because I know there are people who like the original movie. I was so disappointed in it. It didn't follow any mythology that we know from the shows and the comics.
If I remember correctly, that used a script that they just repurposed from something else.
I think
that was
so.
one of those ones that did that,
I think so, and I think there was an argument about wanting to create new characters to have new toys to sell specifically for the movie,
and the budget being cut, so
right?
They couldn't do Eternia.
Right, exactly, and I do think that's also isn't that the movie where they took some of the budget to make Superman 4?
Oh, I think
because they're both canon films. So so you can blame Superman 4 for a bad He-Man movie.
You can blame Superman 4 for a lot of things. Not cool, man.
So
I don't know. Like, was it? We've had 2 He-Man related animated shows, right? Of late.
Yeah, the Kevin Smith one, and then the other one, which I didn't see actually.
The other one was okay. The Kevin Smith one was okay.
People just got pissed off because they it wasn't so focused on He-Man.
Oh, because it focused on Tila. Again.
No. Well, go ahead. Go ahead. You go ahead.
It just I don't listen to those people. They obviously
I got pissed off because they killed He-Man, in the first half, and yes, they brought him back in the second half, but it was just like, no, you don't kill off He-Man and the Masters of the Universe.
Yeah, they could have. I don't know. Like I said, it was okay, but anyway, it was. I would like to. I mean, I hope this movie is like better. I mean, like they can't be much worse than the original movie.
I was gonna say, Don, you're a little younger. Did you grow up with during the He-Man phenomenon at all?
Oh yeah, I had all the toys. I saw
Okay.
the original He-Man film I remember being disappointed. This is fucking nothing to do with He-Man.
Yeah.
And who's this Courtney Cox bitch? But anyway.
Oh yeah,
So yeah, no.
He's your
I
friend.
was huge into that. I mean, yeah, Castle Grayskull and the other purple castles, Skeletor, all that shit.
God, I forgot Courtney Cox was in there.
Yeah.
Hold on real quick. Drew says, going back to Star Wars, what about the Hot Toys Raven Lord Starkiller and the Dark Empire Luke that came out?
No, that shit is fire. Straight fire.
I am interested in the Starkiller figure because I did like those games, but I'm not interested. Luke is my favorite character, and I am not interested in a Dark Empire version of Luke. Sorry, it's just I don't like that storyline.
Right? Isn't that from when the Emperor actually turned him? Because Luke was like, "Hey, I'm going to let the Emperor turn me, so I can kind of get more intel."
Yeah, I mean that's Yeah, that's the sequel books that were written.
Yeah.
That's where he comes in, and it's like. Also, technically, they're not canon anymore. So, and the idea that Luke would ever turn to the dark side.
Some of those extended universe books were really good. The ones that involved the Yu Zhavong. Now that's a storyline that is interesting and would be very cool if they started to work them in, because
they could.
It challenges the whole universe. I mean, they could get points of view from so many different characters of this invasion coming from outside the galaxy.
Yeah.
They can lean right into that shit already with the fact that Palpatine somehow returned. Anyway, with that armada and shit, they can already say that he was doing that shit because he was preparing for the Yuzhan Vong invasion, which is exactly what he was doing in the extended universe books.
Yeah.
They can still do all of that, and they need to. That's a great element of Star Wars that I think they need to introduce.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Because it would challenge all the Jedi, too.
I mean, they're kind of doing that now with bringing Thrawn back in the Ahsoka series, and, there's now talk of making the sequel, like, bringing all these shows together in the movie, the Dave Filoni movie. So it's like, we'll see what they do with it. And part of me, something I want to talk about when we get to Phantom Menace, and I'll explain it more then, is part of me kind of hopes they do it. And I'll explain that when we get there. Real quick, too, Kassan said, give me an R-rated Conan reboot. Is that for
Didn't they
the
do that with
violence?
Jason Momoa?
Was that a Conan movie? I don't know.
Or I saw a Conan movie with Jason Momoa as Conan.
But
It was a long time ago.
I mean, Kassan, do you want it R-rated for violence, or you want it R-rated for, Conan
Boobies.
Boobies and Conan walking around naked?
Swanging.
I would want a non-Conan expanded universe done as animated with Jason and
Jason and Jaina.
Oh, Jason and Jaina solo.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, non-canon. I thought after I read the thing about Conan,
I mean, I didn't know there were Jedi in Conan Barbarian.
That's how I read it too, actually, at first. Violence and Naked Conan. They kind of did the Jason and Jaina angle already, although not exactly, but they kind of did that with Ben Solo and Rey.
Yeah.
You know what? We need to. Can we finish the news and then get into this? Because we're just all over the place right now.
All right. Well, the last thing
I'm 3 beers
we
deep,
talked
man,
about
I'll
this
tell you.
for a second before we came online was they're going to re-release at the end of this month, the last 2 days of the month, the original Crow movie ahead of the new reboot coming out.
And my comment to that was, so they're going to show them what the good version is before they try to shoehorn them into the bad version.
Right, and I agree with that too, because I'm like, their thought probably is, let's get some hype going for the new movie by doing this. But I think people who never saw the first one, and if then they go to see this new one, they're probably gonna. I could be wrong, but I have a feeling they're gonna probably hate it and be like, "Why did you, why did you make this?" You know?
Yeah, I don't know about it having anything to do with the new movie. I mean, I get what you're saying there about that, but I gotta tell you, I'm really enjoying this whole like, let's just put an old movie back in the theater shit.
Yeah.
Like, I'm really enjoying that. With the Phantom Menace, and again, we'll talk about that later, but like it made like 2.5 something million its first weekend. Like we talk about these companies struggling to make, money, like do it and put some old shit on theaters. We'll go and see it. We want to see it on the big screen. Like there's still value there. So I would love to see Crow on the big screen. Fuck the reboot, but I would love to see Crow on the big screen again. So I'm all about it.
So Kassan, you say, why do you guys think the new one is bad? Well,
We saw the trailer.
I will give you 3 reasons. Number one, unless you grew up in that time when that movie came out, you don't get there was a mystique about that movie because Brandon Lee died while they were making it, and like anyone, especially when I was in my early 20s when that came out, like the first movie I went to the theater like 3 and 4 times to watch it as well. There was just like this mystique about it. Like, is it the best movie in the world? No, but there's just an air of mysticism around it because of the whole movie. 2, it very much is a movie of its time. It captures the 90s very well.
It was a product of that.
Right. The comic was written in the late 80s, early 90s. I can't remember the exact date. And that's a comic very much of that time. It's a goth love letter, and goth doesn't exist today like it did back then, and so they threw that element away. So you throw away one of the things, the key element in them. None of the sequels did well because of that, like because it wasn't Brandon Lee, because it was not following the comic everyone knew, and that's the thing. And so you're throwing away the goth element, you're throwing away the core, you're redoing it with somebody who looks more like a hardcore rapper than a goth. So you're spitting on the culture who loved the first movie. So yeah, I have no desire to see it at all. I might watch it when it's on streaming for free, but right now I'm not going to pay money to see it. I will.
And you mentioned the original.
Go ahead.
You mentioned the original comic, Eric Draven being the character. I would actually appreciate this new Crow more if they were like, no, this isn't Eric Draven. This is just another Crow. Like, I'm like, oh, okay, cool. That happens. But no, you're saying this is Eric Draven. This guy looks, and again, I like the whole do the thing. I'm not much of a simpleton, but this dude don't even look like Eric Draven. Okay? He don't look like him. He doesn't even have his face all white. So it's simple shit like that bugs me. Now, if you take Eric Draven out of the equation and just say, hey, this is a new fucking Crow story. This is a new Crow. I'm actually on board with you a little bit. No. You're saying this is Eric Draven. This don't fucking look like Eric Draven.
And the reason they did that, in my opinion, is the sequels were not Eric Draven. They were honoring him. And because they didn't do well, I bet you the movie company that put it together was like, well, it's got to be Eric Draven because the other ones didn't do well, when they're missing the point of why it didn't do well. Oh, I expect a superhero speak to review Crow for that show.
Oh, why do you want to torture us? Come on, man.
You did Madam Web. We did Madam Web. We did
Madam Web. I mean, but there's a level of badness.
Yeah.
Y'all really did that shit, though. Why?
But there's a level of badness. Like, Madam Web was so bad that it was almost funny to watch. This is just going to be sad. And not in a good
Undead
way.
John Wick.
We did the Crow.
Undead John Wick. That's what his new.
Yeah,
we did the original Crow, right?
We did the original Crow. So just go back and watch that episode, because I will go, and I'm going to go to the theater to watch the re-release of the original. But nah,
Bruce got balls, man. He's like, I expect.
All right,
I dig it. I dig it.
Let's take a quick commercial break, and come back with our main topic.
This is so wizarding.
Broadcasting very fast and very dangerous from the planet Malistan. You are listening to So Wizard.
You're thinking, people gonna die?
The only podcast to make the Kessel run in under 12 parsecs.
There'll be no one to stop us this time.
I am your host, Joey DiCarlo, and with me, my co-hosts, the queen of all nerds, Aubrey Litchfield, and the expert, Mr. Marquis, Marcellus Ray. You are listening to So Wizard Podcast, where three friends review movies, TV, and sometimes more, podcasting weekly on the Geek World All-Stars Podcast Network. Marcellus Reagans, please tell the listeners where they can find more So Wizard Podcasts.
Everybody, you can head on over to SoWizardPodcast.com, and there you're going to find a brand new episode every week. Find So Wizard on all podcasting streaming platforms, such as iTunes, Spotify, Good Pods, and pretty much wherever you can find a podcast. Check out our YouTube page, where new content is being uploaded regularly. We also have a Patreon page. For as little as $1 a month, you can receive exclusive bonus content while you're supporting the show.
No, I didn't. First of all, a podcast takes a lot of work, okay? You have to organize the guests, you have to do a Google Calendar, and then you build a following. It takes a long time, and I've been working on it for a while.
It's funny, real quick, listening to that, and I didn't think about it before, but
You're going to say the same thing I'm going to say. Go ahead.
No, I don't think you're going to say the same thing I'm going to say, because I've been on So Wizard a couple times, and Marcellus does the read live, where he says they say this is where you can find the show, and then at the end he always shouts out the Geek World All Stars, but Randy cut that out of the commercial. But the funny, because it's always slightly different, and it's funny, right? Because that's why I asked Don to record the one we do, because then it's just easy. Click the button, you can take a sip of your alcoholic beverage, and then come back, and I don't have to because there have been times when we did do it. I did do the read live, I would forget stuff, So this way I don't forget anyone from the Geek World All Stars. But it's tough, and it's funny too, because he does it, but then the music isn't playing underneath. He adds that in post, right? Because they're pre-recorded, and that's another thing I thought about. You're just adding extra work for yourself. So what were you gonna say?
I was gonna say, so wizarding. It's that quote was from this movie. I forgot.
Oh, yeah. Both the quotes are from Phantom Menace. Yeah.
I know the Jar Jar Binks one is easy to remember, but I didn't remember. I think I may have only seen this movie maybe 2-3 times at the most. And
wow.
It's got to have been at least 20 years since I've seen it. So,
wow.
I just, I didn't know that there was that one kid who made that comment when we was talking to Anakin about the pod race. That's so wizard. It's
and that's where they got their name from. Yep.
And it also reminds me how bad the dialogue is in this movie. So.
Yeah. If you ever, if you're watching this and you ever go back, to listen to their early episodes, a lot of their early episodes are Star Wars focused. And then now they're really just a movie review podcast. But they've changed a lot in 10 years. But yeah. So
we haven't, unfortunately.
We've gotten old. All right. So it is the 25th anniversary of the Phantom Menace. And we're just going to get into this. We're not going to do a non-spoiler because it's 25 years old. If you've not seen the Phantom Menace before, and you didn't go this weekend to see it in the theater, you can just go watch them on Disney Plus. But it's been spoiled a million times, so.
If you just want to recap, somebody yells no, and then a couple of the Wilhelm clan dies, and then and then there's lightsabers. So that's basically it.
No, the no comes at the end of the trilogy. So
no, there's always a no. There's a couple of no's.
there's always
one in
somebody.
each
There's
movie.
always somebody who says, "I've got a bad feeling about."
No, there was a no in this one. There was definitely a no in this one towards the end. Don knows which one I'm talking about.
Oh, okay.
Like I said, there's a no, a Wilhelm dies, and there's lightsabers. There you go. Star Wars.
So, let's start off. I'm kind of curious what your experience with this movie was, if you can remember when it first came out, and then you rewatched it, and what are you thinking? What are some of your thoughts now? Like, did it hold up? So
let me mention something that I talked to Don about, but while you were having technical difficulties.
Yeah.
Is I remember going to a movie, and I don't remember the movie, which is hilarious. I don't remember the movie, but I remember them doing the Phantom Menace. Was it review, the trailer, right?
Yeah.
Before, and I remember everybody in the audience cheering. Right, and it was that one where they were in the mists, and you see the Gungans start to walk out of the mists.
Yeah,
it was that scene. I forget what other scenes. I just remember that, and everybody starting to cheer for a trailer, which I don't remember. I don't think I've been to a movie theater where I've seen anybody cheer a trailer in decades, but that was definitely one time I remember it. So. I was really excited when it came out myself, because it was, Star Wars. Okay. So, I mean, that was my, and then it came out, and of course I went to see it with, I don't know, let's see, this was 1999, right? So,
right.
Where was I in 1999? I don't remember.
Were you married in 1999?
Yeah. That might have been towards the end of my divorce. I think I might have gone and seen that one myself. So that was my first divorce. Anyway, yeah. So, but that's what I remember about it. Don?
I remember reading the Entertainment Weekly while I was serving an in-school suspension way back in 1999, as this movie came out about a month before I graduated. And certainly, as Drew was saying in the chat here, he saw it 10 times in theaters. I had a very similar experience where I had seen it multiple times. I was that enthralled with the movie. As far as the original trilogy, I was lucky enough to be 2 years old, and my grandma was foolish enough to take me to the theater to see Return of the Jedi, again, which we were promptly kicked out. But I was the sort of kid that watched these over and over and over again because, again, that same grandmother made sure that she pirated these from the bookseller video rental place. And so I always had Star Wars, followed by Rocky IV, as well as some other choice movies, Iron Eagle. But nonetheless, I watched them over and over and over again. So I was just very, very excited when this movie came out. I went back to the theaters as they re-released all three of the original trilogy with the updated CGI or whatever you want to call that, one special effects.
Oh yeah.
And I was completely mystified. I can just, because obviously being a fan of the original trilogy, the lightsaber fights that we see are pretty pedestrian when you pair them up with what we see in the first 10 minutes of this movie. So from the jump, I've just I've always loved this movie, from again being a near graduate of high school back when I saw it, to me taking the whole entire family to see it this past Friday. I love it.
Set the
always
lightsaber
loved
thing
it.
set the lightsaber thing aside, the lightsaber fights aside for a second. We want to talk about that after Dave gives his.
So, my relationship with Star Wars is kind of a little long and complicated. Not complicated, but I was thinking about this today. So in 7th and 8th grade, my next oldest, I'm the youngest, so my next older brother was in high school, and my sister had moved out at that point. She moved out when she was like 18, and then my oldest brother was out of college and he had a full-time job. So I was as a lot of kids from the 80s, I was a latchkey kid, and so I would get home from school and you know, whatever I had to do, I did. But then I had a video cassette that had all three of the original movies. I'm for sure I told this story in the podcast, but it was all three of the original movies on one cassette. A friend of my dad's had taped them off of HBO for him, and
Wow.
I did not have a lot of friends in grade school. So from the time I got home till one of my parents came home or whatever, every day I would just watch that tape. Once I got to the end of Return of the Jedi, I rewound it and then I started all over again. For pretty much 2 years, I used to do that, and um, that's why no one ever wants to play me in Star Wars Trivia Pursuit. and then
yeah.
and then so like it's weird to say, but like that was a substitute for friends in a lot of ways. That and comic books. Now you understand this show. Um, and then and of course I played Shadows of the Empire. I probably played through it 4 times. Like right after I bought the game, and then so with all that, when they announced new Star Wars, and yeah, of course, everyone saw the special editions, and when they announced new Star Wars, I'm like, oh my god, I got to go see it. And it's funny because for a long time, the prequels have gotten hate, again, toxic fandom, and I just came out thinking, I saw some of the coolest stuff that I've always wanted out of Star Wars in this movie, and I finally got it. And people are crapping on it because they don't like one character in the movie. It's like, really? So, so yeah, like that was my initial experience with it, and I'll say rewatching it for the podcast, I'm like, no, I think this holds up pretty well. Yeah, I mean, there's a couple little flaws. I'll get to that in a minute, but yeah, like it's still a good movie in my opinion. What were you going to say about lightsabers there, John?
I think they overcompensated from the lightsaber fights in the. I think towards the end, Return of the Jedi, the lightsaber fight was pretty damn good between him and Darth Vader.
It's a very aggressive fight.
Yeah, if a little stilted, but still,
Yeah.
it was pretty good. I think they like, you know, with the advent of CGI and everything, they're like, oh, we can take their faces and paint them on these stunt guys who are flipping all over the place, and they kind of went a little too far with the fights. I mean, it wasn't bad, but I felt it was like maybe a little overdone.
In my opinion, Duel of the Fates, and don't get me wrong, the Darth Vader Luke Skywalker lightsaber battle in front of the Emperor is probably iconic. It might be to me it's number 2, but the Duel of the Fates between Darth Maul, Obi-Wan, and Qui-gon Jinn that's to me it's like, oh yeah, that is what a Jedi can do, right? Like, and that's what a Sith Lord can do, right? Like, it's you can't.
I'll give you that.
You can't like. I mean, come on, we've seen the CGI AI redone Darth versus Obi-Wan from Star Wars.
Oh yeah, there's a couple. I think there's like 2 or 3 of those actually, but they like all of them are pretty good. There's only one that I really watched a couple of times, and that like yeah, they really do an amazing job of showing Darth Vader and Obi-Wan really going at it like you
right,
would think.
What's oh my god, the actor who played Obi-Wan, I can't think of his name.
Ewan McGregor.
Yeah.
No.
Alec McGuinness.
Alec McGuinness. He was an old man. He couldn't do anything spectacular, and CGI and that kind of stuff wasn't even invented at that point. I mean, it was 77. No one had computers on their desk in 77.
And it was their first movie. Like they didn't have as much of a. I mean, they had an incredible budget considering it was a sci-fi thing back in the day, but still, they didn't have the budget to do anything really special.
Right. Drew says the Old Republic trailer videos are amazing.
That game is amazing.
Oh, I haven't played it.
It's actually an MMO, but what's great about it is you can just play it by yourself, and it's just as good because the story's awesome.
Oh wait, no. Am I thinking of this? That's the online game, Old Republic.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, all right. Yeah, I have played that one. All right.
There's Knights of the Old Republic on Xbox, but if you're saying the Old Republic, and it does have some kick-ass videos to it. So
yeah. So I mean, I love that it's one of the things I love about that movie so much. I'll say this, like, the biggest complaint people have about the movie is Jar Jar Binks, and I haven't watched the movie in a little while, so when I watched it again, I'm like, is he annoying? Kind of. And they lessened his role obviously in the next two because people complained about him, but it's not as bad as some of the other characters I've seen like that in movies. And I think, in my opinion, and I could be wrong on this, I'm kind of curious what you guys think. He was comic relief, and two, like, I think the thought process was, because let's be honest, we love Star Wars, but it is a movie designed to appeal to kids, and they sold a lot of toys based on that concept. And he's just a goofy character that, like, I think young kids can relate to, you know? What do you guys think?
In real life, Jar Jar Binks would have died in 5 minutes by slipping on the floor and sticking up like a fork through his eye or something. Like the fact that he didn't die 20 times over, like there's slapstick, there's a funny character, and then there's just stupid. Like, that was Three Stooges, Keystone Cops type level of physical humor done by a CGI character in a time when CGI still, I mean, the CGI doesn't really hold up that well in this movie.
Why? I've heard, you're the second person I've heard today say that, and I'd like to know why, because I disagree.
There were a lot of shots where I'm looking at going, I can see the matting. I can see that they're not looking in the right place for where the character they're talking to. There was a lot of not pixelation. There's like when it's a little bit green, when the CGI is a little bit greener than the rest of the shot, or the light's not coming in from the right angle, and I don't know. It's just a lot of it didn't weave into the shot very well in a lot of places.
So this came out in 1999. The first Spider-Man movie came out in 2002.
Yeah.
And there is a scene in Spider-Man where he does a flip, and it's clearly, without question, a CGI Spider-Man.
Mm-hmm.
And, like, I don't feel that when I watch the CGI in this movie. And in fact, this, because it was 1999, and yeah, it wasn't perfect technology yet, but I think it's on par with the Jurassic Park CGI.
I'd say it's a little less than the Jurassic Park thing. And here's the other thing. Even with Jurassic Park, they had practical effects. Yeah, they had CGI, but they also weaved it in with some practical effect shots.
Right.
They didn't do that here. Like, the only reason they had, what was it? They had what was it? What did I hear? The Yoda, they made another Yoda puppet, and they didn't get the green right, so they just decided to fully CGI him in.
I'm not shocked with that. And it's funny because people complain about the CGI Yoda because George Lucas was trying to make him look younger, so gave him more hair, but the hair was still all gray. So in some people's minds, he actually looks older in it because of that. And I don't disagree with that. I think they should have just kept him looking exactly the same as he did.
Well,
in
no,
Empire.
that makes perfect sense because he looks older in this movie because he's still dealing with all this Jedi Council bullshit. And when he's living on Dagobah, he's completely relaxed. I mean, have you seen people that leave a bad job? Or like look at every president of the United States. They look like they've aged 30 years by the time by the time they've finished their run, and then they look great within a 2-year period.
I can't disagree with that. What did you think of the CGI, Don? Because you obviously are upset by people complaining.
Yeah, no, I mean, because honestly, this movie set the bar for CGI. So when people say, "Oh, the bad CGI doesn't hold up," I don't get that. I just don't.
I don't. I mean, it doesn't. It's not as bad as a lot of other stuff at the time. It's. I mean, it's not Velocipaster bad, but but you know that's my that's a bar I'm setting. But it's still a little bit like it's still a little bit where you can see where it was layered in and all that, and you can see that some of the actors are not looking in the right place when they're talking to somebody. I mean, they didn't. It's not bad. It's just it doesn't hold up. As in, it's still not like seamless.
I appreciate that Industrial Light and Magic knew the limits to a point. Like they weren't ready for them to just stand on a screen and add the city behind them. Like you can tell they're on practical sets.
Well, yeah, but I would say that it's never a good idea to do completely green screen stuff
They
it's
do
gotten
that.
kind of. I know every
They
Marvel
do that
movie
in
now.
every Marvel movie, every DC movie.
But
and the DC ones, I'm sorry, look like crap when you can tell they're on a CGI set.
They do, yes,
Yeah.
and that upholds what I just said. Is that it's never a good idea to do
Right.
that.
But like, and yeah, you have to do I still feel like you have to do a blend, right? Like,
You have to do. It doesn't hold quite. It doesn't hold up quite well, but it's not bad. You know, I mean,
Right.
like you said, it was 1999, and the fact that they did as well as they did is that's Industrial Light and Magic for you in 1999 when nobody else probably could have done what they did.
I mean,
at that point.
it's a shame that George Lucas learned about CGI, and then we would have never got the special edition version of the original trilogy.
I would pay really good money to have the original, theatrical release
And
version.
everyone would, and I think Disney is waiting for the right time. Like
It'll come out about the same time a Blu release of the holiday special comes out. A Blu-ray release of that.
Oh my God! I think they should just put it on Disney Plus, and I think people will go crazy watching it, and then they'll go, "Oh, now I know why people don't like it." Yeah. So I mean, we were not going to go beat by beat because everyone knows this movie, but there are things I didn't think about before watching this with a new eye for tonight, and I'm like, oh wow, like Qui-gon is the most intelligent character in this movie. Like he figures out that, well, first off, he surmises that Anakin has the Force based on things that are said to him in conversation, and that's what prompts him to, okay, this is another big concern with the movie. He checks his midichlorians. Thank God they threw that idea away after this, but the idea that we have something in our blood.
Didn't.
When was the last time?
Okay. Bad Batch. The new Bad Batch series
I did not watch
their
it.
whole thing is that because they're going into the Project Necromancer, which is how Palpatine returns. And it whole thing is, yes, they can clone a Jedi or they can clone somebody, but that does not guarantee that their M count, midichlorian count, is going to be the same. And that's why we have further implications to the fact that we see, what was that, Obi-Wan or Ahsoka, one of those series where we see the Empire's keeping dead Jedi in formaldehyde, basically. And that's because with Project Necromancer, the whole thing is they need to find out how to clone Palpatine, but also make sure that his midichlorian count, aka M count, is still as high. So they have not abandoned that. That is still a thing.
But you know what? I would love it if they would just drop the whole thing and just explain it away as, you know what? It's still a mystical thing. Your connection with the Force, and midichlorians are just, they will congregate around somebody with a strong connection, and the stronger your connection, the more they are there. And that's the reason why they can use midichlorians as a
Right.
count instead of making it that the midichlorians are what give you the connection to the Force.
I get that because they've come out and said already that basically everybody has the Force. Everybody, and that's pretty much, and that's what the new sequel trilogy is kind of showing us,
Mm.
is that everybody can tap into the Force. You just need to know how to do it. So believe me, if there's one thing I can defend very little about this movie, is the whole midichlorian thing. But in truth, it has not been completely banned. It is still a thing, although it's I think a frivolous way to try to tangibility, I guess, the Force, which I don't think they
Yeah.
need to do. I agree. They don't need to do that. This energy shield that surrounds us, binds us, boom, we're good. But it is a thing.
Drew asks, "What did my girlfriend think of the movie?" She's a big Star Wars fan. She was, because she's same age. She grew up with Star Wars as well. I mean, obviously not as strong as mine because well, one, she had friends as a kid, and two, she she didn't collect the toys or anything, but she's always liked Star Wars, and then of course, like me, like most people our age, then she had kids who watched this trilogy, and that's the thing people forget too. Like for like my kids, this is their first Star Wars.
Yeah.
My son was a huge Obi-Wan fan.
And I know Jar Jar is a big point of contention with this movie, but I'm telling you, I had my 7-year-old daughter, my 9-year-old daughter, my 40-year-old wife, and guess who laughed at everything Jar Jar did? All three of them. So I think, John, you and others are just a little bit too far away from it to get the Jar Jar character.
Did you just say you had a 4-year-old wife?
40. Let's just make sure.
Okay.
And yeah.
We don't want the YouTube algorithm to pull the plug.
Right. No.
Well,
a horrible thought.
I mean, it's possible that well, again, I saw the originals in the theater, even the first one. So because I'm old, but I don't know. There's a lot of I don't know that I'd have to give that some thought, Don, because I don't know if you watched the originals that you have that influences you so much on your opinion of the prequel trilogy.
Well, I think that I do know this, that I am always going to be grateful because this movie was the return of Star Wars for me. So I know I'm going to have that little bit of a bias there. And I will say that even watching it as an 18-year-old back then, I'm not saying I was like, oh, Jar Jar. Like, I was kind of like, okay, he's kind of annoying.
He's kind of
crazy. But to appreciate what this movie is supposed to do, which is to world build, to get you into the franchise, it does that in spades. And the Jar Jar character augments that. The Jar Jar character is something that people, I guess, with a lighter sense of humor, they connect with, they enjoy. There's a little bit of cynicism there from people that are like, oh, Jar Jar. Like, I get it. I didn't watch the movie because I wanted the comic relief. I wanted to see Jedi cool shit.
Right.
Check out the first 10 minutes.
Every time Jar Jar is on that screen, you're not seeing that. So,
Drew,
I understand.
Drew says the theatrical release were bonus on the first release of the movies initially. I didn't know that because I didn't buy them individually when they came out on DVD or Blu-ray. It was DVD at first.
No, the
originals. Yep.
The originals came out on VHS.
I have the originals.
Right, but they did a DVD cut that had both the new updated versions and the not updated version.
I wonder if you can find them anymore.
Probably not.
All right,
I have
Kassan.
something in my garage that might be it, but I have to look at it more.
Why is midichlorians so controversial? Simple answer, and you guys kind of already said this, is that you're taking something that was for 30 years or 25 years a mythical thing, right? And then you're trying to give a scientific explanation.
Quantifying it, yeah.
Yeah, you're taking away the mysticism, which hurts it a little bit. You know,
And that hurt the Highlander thing, right? Because in Highlander, the first movie, it's
when
like,
they made them aliens in
oh,
the second one, it was like, what?
Yeah.
That's
It's
like
over explanation.
It's like explaining Joker's backstory. We don't need to know who the Joker is. We just know that the Joker exists. The more you explain him, the worse the character gets. Actually, so we don't need explanation for that.
I like this Kassan's point here. Can't that logic apply to new generations of moviegoers? Like maybe the new Crow will find its crowd from this generation.
No, it's bad, and it's going to be bad.
Well,
he's right. I mean, it can find its whole new generation of fans. It absolutely can. But I'm just saying, you named the dude Eric Draven. He does not look like Eric Draven to me. But someone that doesn't know better, you're right.
It's fandom is going to be people that are stuck on a plane and have nothing else to watch.
I'm
sorry.
My thought on this, and maybe I'm way off. I feel like they make these movies, these remakes, in the hopes that fans of the original, who are now adults with kids, will take their kids to it.
But
if the original fans are turned off by it, they're not going to do it. So you might get like bored teenage to like early 20 people, but I'm going to go check it out. But unless it's a really good movie, they're going to just tell their friends and they won't go see it. You know, so we'll see.
So, didn't they? So getting back on track a
Right.
little bit here. So, I mean, they called this Star Wars trade negotiations, right? I mean, this was all about trade negotiations, and it.
But it was not all about trade negotiations.
I mean, I know. I'm just putting this up for discussion.
Right. I get that. And before I read,
I don't think that down.
Even Drew, before I read Drew's comment, because I've got something to say about that. Exactly, like that's a complaint you hear from a lot of people. In fact, I know a channel that both John and I love, which is the Pitch Meeting movies. They brought that up in the pitch meeting, but
I think Everything Wrong With also brought it up.
Right.
CinemaSins. Yeah.
But in Phantom Menace, it's really a small part of the movie. In fact, in the very first scene when Obi-Wan and Qui-Gon show up to do negotiations with what's the name of the race? The
Trade Federation.
Yeah, but I mean there was a name.
Nemoidians, Viceroy, and
when he shows up, when they show up to talk to the Viceroy to negotiate with them, Darth Sidious orders them to kill them because they don't want them there, and of course they escape, and that's what kicks off the movie. But like there's that, and there's 5 minutes in the Senate in the first one, and it's really what goes on in those parts are the council, the Jedi Council, trying to figure out if they want to train Anakin or not, and then Qui-Gon showing like, well, if you don't want to train him, screw you, I'm going to do it myself. So that's it. You get like a failed thing, like they don't even talk, and then you get one scene in the Senate where that's set up. It's not trade negotiations. That's set up for Padme or Queen Amidala, whatever you're going to call her, to say she gives a vote of no confidence in the current head of the Senate, and which sets up Darth Sidious becoming the head of the set of the what do they call it? The Galactic Council, which which sets up all the dominoes that lead us to Revenge of the Sith.
Now this again, I haven't rewatched this in like 2 decades, and I'll give you this: like, I am very up on politics. Let's say I watch a lot of political content. Some because it interests me.
Instead of X-Men 97, I'm starting to see the problem.
and more,
it's
more
always politics is the problem there.
And more because I like seeing Armageddon before it happens, but or the reason for it. But the thing is, like, what is really interesting about this is how easy it is for Darth Sidious to take down this 1,000-year-old political system, but
because
when they
plays
show
both sides too, like
I know, yeah. Well, I mean, my God, it is so much like some of the politicians we have right now. But when you see how big the council, like we only have 400 There's 300 and something. No, it's over 400 now. 400 members of our House of Representatives.
House of Reps, yeah.
And there are thousands of members of that Galactic Council. They're never going to get anything done with that. So, like, for that, somebody like Darth Sidious, that's a playground to him.
I mean,
like, it was really interesting to see how he played both sides, like you said.
And I love how they talk about bureaucracy because, I mean, come on, let's be honest. But, and I'm going to play something for myself in a second. But, like, the idea that one vote of
no confidence
in the leader led to him being ousted and them calling a special election for everyone. It was like, really, that's all it took?
Which may be happening for the second time in our House of Representatives again. Like within 1 year, it's already happened once and about to happen a second time.
So
just
yeah,
one person taking down the leadership. So,
exactly. So I mean that's so funny that like how that stuff works. But on that note, since we delved into politics a little bit, comparing it to the real world,
we have to. It's part of this movie. You don't.
What are you doing? We don't do that here.
Sorry, I had to do that.
So who do you think the ETs were? I like the fact that the ETs were in this, and that was like a tit for tat, because in ET, when ET was out trick or treating, one of the kids that came up was dressed as Yoda, and so Spielberg and Lucas were just like having a little bit of fun there. I also like when the Enterprise showed up. There's a scene where Amidala is talking as the Queen, and in the background the Enterprise floats by. So there's that.
The Millennium Falcon is in what's the second Star Trek movie with the First Contact?
Yeah,
when they're fighting the Borg, the Millennium Falcon is one of the ships that flies by.
I remember seeing that. Yep. So you gotta love it. By the way, you guys didn't comment on my my title here.
Senior Trek. Oh my God! No! All right,
bring it to me.
You're gonna make all the Star Wars haters upset. All right. Drew says Phantom introduces the romance driving the entire Skywalker saga. So I am going to say that is one of the issues I have with the movie.
It was a little creepy.
It's a little creepy that
even though she's 9 and he's 14, oh yeah, he's probably gonna marry her someday.
Like, if they're adults, 5 years is not a big gap. In fact, I think my son-in-law is 4 years older than my daughter, which, like, when they started dating, she was an adult at that point, so it wasn't a big deal. But, like, when you're 9 and 14,
the gap is parsecs long, to put it in Star Wars terms.
Yeah, and it's just I'm sorry, as a father, that's creepy, and it's not like you can argue like, oh well, they just became friends, but it's not even like Amidala goes, oh, this is creepy, dude. Like she's really friendly with him, so I don't know.
A little overly friendly, and you gotta remember, like they already knew the fandom that they had, right?
Yeah,
and so they did what a lot of franchises do, which I think is a mistake, where they tie everybody together, which is one of my big problems with the Star Wars universe, or
the Skywalker saga.
Yeah, where everybody's related to everybody and everybody's known everybody forever, right? So like, Anakin built C-3PO, and R2-D2 was there right from the beginning. It's it's like everybody knows everybody, and it just it's a certain level of I don't know, like they could just make the lore where people were pulled into this epic instead of having everybody being related and all this other stuff.
Yeah.
So
Don,
I'm saying I'm not speaking very eloquently about this, but go ahead.
Don, you have small children. How would you feel if your 9-year-old son said, "I've got a new girlfriend. She's 14." Or
I said,
vice
"Hey,
versa.
buddy, good for you.
Oh,
You were definitely doing better than I was back then." No, no, it would be concerning. It's a little bit creepy. And I think that really has all to do with the fact that the actor they landed on for Anakin Skywalker just happened to be, 9 years old, and
Yeah, and I agree. And I also feel like if he was the same age, if he was 14, then when they said, "Oh, he's too old for training," I feel like that would have made more sense at that point, because I found myself questioning when Sam Jackson, oh my God, what's his character's name?
Mace Windu.
Mace
Mace.
Windu.
When Mace Windu said that in the movie, I'm like, wait, how young do you have to be to start Jedi training? 3? Like,
But they aged him down on purpose because Lucas wanted it to be more of an impact when he left his mother.
yeah, I can see
They
that.
aged him down on purpose.
So,
But you're
it-
right. That still leaves it with, well, now he still looks like a paddle. He looks like a learner,
Right. Yeah. Let's see. What does Drew say here? Wow, this is long. Have you guys seen What If Episode 1 was good, where a YouTube guy places himself as someone editing what we got? It's great. His main point is that the main character should be Obi-Wan. Episode 1 loses Qui-Gon current master. Episode 2 loses Dooku's connection to his past, Qui-Gon. Episode 3 loses his connection to the future, Anakin. Huh, no, I
That's
haven't
interesting.
seen that.
I'll have to look that up. Oh, that reminds me. Qui-Gon was stupid. Qui-Gon was the perfect example of why the Republic was dying and why the Jedi Order was dying. He couldn't sense at all the Sith, which even Obi-Wan said, I feel a disturbance, and Qui-Gon's like, I don't feel anything. So there's that. He was a perfect example of why they were dying out. And then he put all of his faith in some of this mysticism of the chosen one.
But he was the chosen one. Qui-Gon's the only one that got that right.
He wasn't the chosen one.
Darth Vader is the chosen one.
He wasn't, though. He didn't bring balance.
He's the one that kills the Emperor, not Luke. In the end, Darth is actually the chosen one.
You didn't watch Clone Wars all the way, did you, John?
Oh, that's right. God, there's so much. All right.
Yeah, no, he's the chosen one.
Yeah, he saves his son and kills Darth Sidious. Like, yeah, that's the thing. Like, Qui-Gon's the only one who got that right.
See, I'm still stuck in some of the extended universe stuff because I read all the original books, and like Jaina and Jason were supposedly going to be the chosen ones because they were going to bring balance. Like, they were still looking for the chosen to bring balance, even the extended universe.
And that's the
is
thing
no longer
too.
canon. So no.
Right, exactly. And even, it's funny because after the first 6 movies were all done, George Lucas came out and said this, and I kind of agree with him. Is that, and I think bringing back the Emperor in the final movie was the dumbest thing, but he said that Star Wars is the saga of Anakin Skywalker / Darth Vader. That's his story. So we get to the earliest version of him, and then the end of his life when he becomes the chosen one. Like, it's his story. He is the chosen one. And the fact that, so the fact that Disney has crapped all over that since they took over is a point of offense to me at sometimes.
Kazan said, doesn't that just mean Obi-Wan is stronger than Qui-Gon? Actually, in canon, Obi-Wan is very much stronger than Qui-Gon.
Well,
like with the Force, he's also a much better wielder of a lightsaber.
That's true. He's a much better fighter. In fact, if you watch the Obi-Wan series, not the Obi-Wan series, which I'm trying to remember where this was.
It was in Rebels where he
Yes.
completely, like, it was the final meeting between him and
Darth
Darth
Maul.
Maul.
That's
and
what
he
I'm
bodies
thinking of.
him in one move.
Well, because Darth Maul tries to do the same move on him that killed Qui-Gon, and he's able to block it. So that's what it is. That he is a better lightsaber duelist than.
But even in canon,
Obi-Wan
he's
is
a
also master of the Sarusu form of lightsaber combat, which is a
Yes.
very
Thank you.
defensive combat form. But yeah, in essence, Obi-Wan does become stronger than Qui-Gon. Now, the thing about Qui-Gon, the reason why some call him Jedi Jesus, he kind of looks like what you
Really? Okay.
is the fact that Qui-Gon did not use the Force to serve his will or the Jedi Council's will. Qui-Gon was very much in tune, and he says this in Phantom Menace, to the living Force. Be aware of the living Force.
Right.
So Qui-Gon was centered on doing what the Force wanted to be done, and not what the Council wanted, or even what himself wanted. So yes, he lost to Maul, but in doing so, he enabled really the rest of the story to continue, for Maul to be defeated, for Maul to, instead of kill Obi-Wan when he had the chance, Qui-Gon's death in itself made Darth Maul very hubris at that point, to where he thought he was invincible, hence why Obi-Wan was able to get one up on him and kill him. So yeah, did Qui-Gon prove not to be the greatest lightsaber duelist? Correct. But ultimately, he does prove the wiser as far as the Jedi go, and the will of the Force and how to use it.
And that's the thing too. Obi-Wan only takes on Anakin as apprentice because he felt obligated to his master who died, not because he believed he was the chosen one.
Otherwise, he would have listened to the council, and was it Yoda, and he wouldn't have taken him on. But because he made a promise.
Okay.
And although Qui-Gon lost to Darth Maul, he actually did a good bit of damage to him in the form of putting some doubt into him, because Darth Maul's whole thing was, if someone sees me, they're going to fear me, and that's going to put them off balance, and I'm going to fuck them up because of it. But what did Qui-Gon do? Instead of staying all worked up, like when he got a chance, he meditated. And that actually unsettled Darth Maul quite a bit. Darth Maul did not expect that at all.
Yeah.
But again, he did end up, defeating him. But again, things went as they should have at that point, and Qui-Gon facilitated that.
I have to read this because Kassan says,
Yeah.
That's a good point, Dave. With the resurrection of Palpatine, doesn't that undermine the Darth Vader as the chosen one? Because it means Anakin failed. Exactly. That's one of the reasons I hate that they brought him back, just to try to attract fans in, and it was just like, no. Like, it's and the line, somehow Palpatine returns, is like, no.
It's like
they did it already.
It's the jumping the shark of the 1980s.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of the extended universe novels, the Dark Empire. Like, the fact that they Vader kills Palpatine, but yet he somehow comes back in those novels too, because his spirit was saved somehow and put into a clone body in those books, and it's like, no, you're and that's funny because Lucas did say many times, and I have a feeling Disney saying that those movies don't count or books don't count was part of Lucas's negotiation for buying it, but ended up biting him in the butt anyway. Is that again? He said that's Anakin's or Darth Vader's story, and it was completed at the end of Jedi, and to like bring Palpatine back, then he failed at being the chosen one. What's the point of calling him the chosen one at that point? So it's a difficult thing, but let's admit it. We'll get back to Phantom Menace in a second. The only reason they brought him back in this, what did they call it? The Skywalker, what is it? Rise of Skywalker, was because they knew people were pissed off at The Last Jedi, and it's like, well, this will get people to come go see the movie again. So, go ahead.
How about we do this? Like, we're talking about issues we have with it. Well, except for Don. But why don't we go over what we liked about it? Like,
oh yeah, because I was going to say that. Like, I think it gave us two of the greatest sequences in Star Wars. The pod race scene is amazing. It still holds up.
Oh yeah,
The CGI holds up. Everything that the Gungan, not Gungan. What's the guy who walks on his hands? The guy
Doug Sabuba.
Sabuba does. Like, and it's funny because you can see it coming a mile away. They like really made him out to be like this power hungry guy who's going to cheat to win kind of guy. Like, I love that aspect of the race. Like, and Anakin wins because of the Force, and because he's meant to go join them to go to the Jedi Council, and like it didn't matter what he did, he wasn't going to win, but he still attempted quite a few. In fact, I feel, I could be wrong, that he hired the Tusken Raiders to come shoot on the race.
I wouldn't. Yeah. That's canon, sure.
Yeah,
that feels like it.
And of course, I love the Duel of the Fates. Like, when I saw it, and I'm like, yeah, this is what a Jedi can do. I've always loved that scene. So, what about you, John? What's your favorite scene of the movie?
Well, was it the Jedi in the beginning? Like, it's like you said, when you first start watching this movie, like from minute one, you're like, oh my God, we're seeing what the Jedi can really freaking do.
Yeah.
Gas them. Oh, it smells nice. Throw droids at them. Nothing. Throw war droids at them. They run away for a little bit, but they always get them in the end, and just sneak it around wherever. But I really like that aspect. The pod racing, the Ben-Hur chariot race, in science fiction.
Exactly.
That was awesome. And other than that, I mean, there were some interesting parts here and there. I found a lot of the dialogue not great, but then there were some other parts of the dialogue of the dialogue that were like iconic. It's kind of weird. We heard our first, was it? They kind of retroactively added in, "I've got a bad feeling about this."
Yeah, Obi-Wan's the first one to ever say it. Yeah.
And probably the first Wilhelm of the Star Universe died in this one. I mean, I don't know. The lightsaber fight I liked too. In the end, I'll give you that. So yeah, it was.
Do you know what? One of the things that's really great in that sequence, that lightsaber duel, is when those like gates come up and everyone gets separated, and Darth Maul is swinging his sword around and like being impatient, and Qui-Gon gets on his knees and like meditates.
Yeah,
and
that was cool.
That's the first time it really showed the difference between the Sith and the Jedi and how they approach things.
I also liked a lot of the sets and a lot of the like the ships. The Naboo ship was awesome. The Gungan city was very imaginative and very cool. I mean, it's so a lot of this stuff. There was a lot of really good stuff in here.
Yeah. Don, you can't say the whole movie.
Damn it.
Well, let me go minute by minute then. No.
Right. So I'm going to agree with John, though. Again, we see very stilted lightsaber combat in the original trilogy. Then we get to this, and we've got fucking Rey Park with a double-ended lightsaber.
Yeah.
Holy shit! Like,
but that escalated
can't get
very
any
quickly.
better than that. Very, very quickly. But no, that was definitely my favorite part. But the other thing, and no one has even mentioned this yet, is the fact that John Williams, right, did another masterpiece, right?
Absolutely.
Like, he didn't just copy what he did in the original. In fact, you don't even hear the Luke Skywalker Force theme until after Anakin, when he he does his thing. Then you start to hear the Force theme there. So like, he didn't just recycle his shit. he did another masterpiece for this, and it really, above all else, I'm in the Star Wars universe, right? Because just like John mentioned with the ship, that Nubian, right? Like all the ships look way fresher than the clunky shit that we saw in the original trilogy. But again, we know we're in the Star Wars universe because of what John Williams has done with the soundtrack.
Hey, the original ships may have been clunky, but when that X-Wing showed up in The Mandalorian Season 2, Episode 8, like, everybody knew. Like, I mean, all the designs are there. Most of the designs are like really iconic, you know. Like that Nubian ship is now like, you see that, you know, it's a Star Wars ship.
But it also shows you, though, it makes sense though, because during the original trilogy, the galaxy is very much in a recession, basically.
Yeah,
right. And you're talking about a royal ship for the Queen. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm gonna like a Sith infiltrator. Oh my god, that was such a cool ship. I love it.
Nice.
Anyway,
it also shows you. I mean, I will say this too: the Sith infiltrator feels closer to the original movie's designs as well.
Mm-hmm.
But it shows you the difference between what people thought the future or spaceships should look like in the 70s versus what people thought they should look like in the 90s. And I think a lot of that had to do with some of the ships you saw in Star Trek, you bastard in green. Than what they, than people who were watching 2001: A Space Odyssey and those kinds of movies in the 70s. So, yeah. Oh wait, Emma's Mark is here. Anakin brought balance to the Force. This was balanced, then faded away.
Awakens in Part 7 and is unbalanced again. So yeah, okay, he brought. That's true. Those pesky oracles. It's like, yes, he will bring balance. Okay, we got balance. Then everything goes off kilter again. It's like,
Oh yeah.
Well, a lot of people put credence into that prophecy. It still has not proven that it's 100% correct.
No, and I have heard arguments from interviews with people who are actually involved with it, and have said that the idea of balance isn't the Jedi win or the light side wins. The idea of balance is both exist. So there's an argument by Anakin becoming Darth Vader, that's what brought balance. And there's an argument by him defeating the Emperor brought balance. So it all depends on your viewpoint. But yeah, like it's the age-old argument is that you can't have good without evil, or you can't have evil without good. Like one viewpoint has
that
to.
even goes back to Darth Revan. So
yeah,
it's the whole thing.
I'm still waiting. Like the idea of balance in the Force, I'm still waiting for them to realize that the old ways of the Jedi were just damn stupid, because it's like it was like what they kept yelling at Elsa, don't feel, it's
and that's the thing. Darth Revan, or Jedi Revan, whatever you want to call him, he proved that long ago, that the fact that he loved Bastila is the reason he was able to accomplish all this shit, get rid of the Sith Empire, destroy the Star Forge, all of this stuff he was able to do. And the Jedi Council at the time, when we're talking about the Old Republic shit, hated him because he was such a badass and he did all this shit, but he basically proved them wrong about, oh, you can't love anyone or you can't feel nothing.
Right. And so that's where balance would come from, is when they finally realize, no, you don't push it all down, stuff it away, because that way when somebody does explode, they're definitely going to become Sith.
So number one, I will respond to that with, it's actually that's one of the brilliance, even though I hate some of the moments in the sequel trilogy. Sorry, Mark. One of the things is that makes Ben Solo, or what's his name?
Kylo Ren.
Kylo Ren's character genius is it shows the opposite. It shows him having good thoughts pop up and him fighting those down so he can remain dark and evil. But I feel like what you're describing is you want in an upcoming Star Wars movie or TV show that a Sith Lord and a Jedi meet on the battlefield. They both turn off their lightsabers, hold hands, and sing "Let It Go" together.
No. I want to see another Jedi, or even a Sith Lord that does what that character. I forget what the character's name is, Don. That did it before. But when they realize that, yes, you can be angry and use the Force and still do good with it. You can be good, right, and use the Force, like use Force lightning and still be a good person. Like, it's just the idea that there's this bifurcation of your feelings, this complete and utter chasm between good and evil is just forcing each side into this corner that they can't possibly hold, which was proven by the fall of the Jedi Council.
Don't we get that in the character Starkiller in those games? I can't think of the names of the name of those games.
You didn't know that
Force
the
Unleashed.
original
Force Unleashed, because he's basically a clone that's created to be like a Sith and be evil, and he ends up going against that at some point.
After getting smacked around by Vader for a little bit, I mean, he kind of had a good push to the.
But he doesn't. But at the end, he's still not really like a Jedi. He's just using the Force, and
same with Ahsoka.
Yeah, but if those are canon, which they're not, but according to their canon, he started the rebellion. So yeah, that's a weird thing. You're right. He wasn't never a Jedi.
And John's right too. Ahsoka is kind of that character too. She walks away from the Jedi Council or the Jedi, but then
because they treated her like crap.
So, but they still exactly. It's the same character, just the opposite. One was to work with Darth, and he treated him like crap, and he went off on his own. And same thing with Ahsoka. So
you do know, you keep mentioning Starkiller. You do know that Luke's original name in the original script
exactly
was
that's where
Luke
it came
Starkiller.
From. Yeah, that's where that exactly
until
that's where it came
until
from.
they figured that doesn't sound quite happy.
Just like the original title of Episode 6 was Revenge of the Jedi, and it was like, yeah, that doesn't work. And they even had posters that came out with that on it.
Then and those are worth a lot of money now.
A lot of money. Okay, Kassan says the Obi-Wan and Qui-Gon relationship was great. I love how much Obi-Wan respects his leader. Yeah, like, or teacher.
His teacher.
Yeah, like that is a very good thing from this movie too, right? Like, and that's an important point to point out. Like, they had a very strong relationship, and they were brothers. And then at the end, when Qui-Gon dies, and Obi-Wan takes on Anakin as a teacher, like, by the end of the trilogy, they have like a brother relationship, and in fact, the speech that we've all heard a million times on Mustafar when they fight and Obi-Wan defeats Anakin, he says that, "You were my brother, you were the chosen one." So, yeah. Actually, Darth Raven's storyline after the sequels would be a great way to show the balance of the Force. John, if Darth Raven's story is a book, please point it out to on Discord. Okay.
Yeah,
I put the link in the chat, but yeah, I mean Darth Revan. I keep saying Darth, but he is both Sith and Jedi, so he is the balance.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, it's on Amazon. Like, for paperback, it's like $11.69 apparently. So.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, like, I think, is it the best of the Star Wars movies? No, right? But is it as bad as some people have made it out to be? Not at all. Like, it's a
great starting point.
Yeah.
I mean, I know they came out in a weird order, but introducing my kids, like, Episode 1 introduced it. Like, my daughter was like, "Oh, that's Darth Vader?" Like, yeah.
Oh, and one of the things too I love about this movie is like the legend or the what people thought about the Jedi preceded them. How afraid the Viceroy was in the beginning of the movie, and like they did try to kill him with gas, and then when they found out they were alive, they freaked out, and then
we will not survive this.
Exactly.
And they're like coming into they're like using their lightsabers to break open the door.
That was great.
And like they thought that they were going to just come in and kill them, which, they weren't going to go kill them in cold blood. They were going to be like, what the hell's going on here at first? But like they didn't know that. They were just afraid, and that was it. And it was like, oh, okay. And yeah, like but showing, like John said, right from the first moment, them being able to like do all that stuff was like, all right, I'm on board.
Yeah, I mean, that was a brilliant hook. Let's show them what the Jedi can really do. Because it's the same feeling you got when you meet back up with Luke Skywalker in the sequel trilogy, and you're like, this isn't the Luke Skywalker I want to see him do something. And then you get Mandalorian season 2 episode 8, right? It's like you want to see somebody doing something cool. Well, it's the same thing here. It's like you've seen sort of what Luke can do, but what were the Jedi like when they're at their height? And then they show, and then smack right the first 5 minutes you're watching them take down, like, oh, blast doors, blast doors. Here's my lightsaber, and just walking through a droid army. I mean, come on, it's awesome.
I also the last point I wanted to bring up, and it's a little bit of an aside, but I was thinking about this too, is we got the prequels, and then we got the sequels, but there is a gap between both sets of movies, right? Like a 19-year gap between Return of the Jedi and between Revenge of the Sith. Oh my God, and The New Hope, and then I can't remember what the gap is between Return of the Jedi and The Force Awakens. I can't remember.
They haven't exactly quantified that.
Yeah,
as far as I know, like, I mean, you can assume it's 20 plus years, I guess, but they have not quantified it.
And it's funny, like, we've gotten stuff in between that happens in between both sets, but I kind of feel like, other than the Obi-Wan series, they haven't really addressed the gap between Revenge of the Sith and A New Hope. Like, and I feel like the story, like, of Darth Vader hunting down Jedi and the building up of the Empire, I feel like there's stories there. They're just that could be rich, and well told. I mean, obviously, people are going to go, "Oh, more stories related to the same characters." Yes and no, but like the idea that you went from the Death Star being built and Anakin fully becoming Darth Vader, and nothing happened of interest between then and there. Like the Obi-Wan series was great. Like,
it showed you something of the
right, and they addressed a lot of things that like I had questions about in that gap. So
love that show. But yeah, you're gonna get most of that in Rebels.
Yeah, that is true. Did get a lot of that in Rebels. So
there's a lot of timeline diagrams online, but they still really don't, like, it's a lot of, most of them I can't find one that actually has like years. It just shows the movie.
They don't. They'll all like be like, whatever, this age before the Battle of Yavin, or this after the Battle of Yavin. Like the Battle of Yavin's like,
it's like ACD
main focal. Yeah.
ACDC. AC versus AD.
Yeah.
That's in the Star Wars timeline. Oh my God.
Star Wars, yeah. Bells, bells.
All right, so what we're saying is we all hate this movie, right, guys? Is that how we're going to wrap this up?
No, I love this movie. It's a great introduction into the Star Wars, particularly for the young kids, and everything that they have released since then. While I was watching in the theater, I was like, oh yeah, like I'm so glad I saw it in the theater again, because it just, again, everything that has come out since then is given more and more context to it. I love it. Yes, it's for kids. I'm a kid at heart, though, so I guess maybe that's why I still connect with it.
Yeah. Any final thoughts, John?
No, I mean, I can nitpick this all I want, but it ain't the sequel trilogy. That's all I can say.
Oh my God.
Yeah, I'm gonna say that
we have to talk about those because and have Don on when we talk about them because
I gotta say Jar Jar Binks is way better than somehow Palpatine returned. So, that is the worst line of any movie ever. All right.
So okay, okay. Here's the thing about the sequel trilogy. No, I will digress a bit here. Okay,
fair enough. We never do that on this show.
It is a major mistake that they did not just have J.J. Abrams do the whole trilogy.
Yes. Okay? Well, that was the problem.
Catherine,
what's her name?
Kathleen Kennedy, which I don't
hate
against. Okay, because the Mandalorian exists under her
watch.
Not
Kennedy, the director of.
Ryan Johnson.
Ryan Johnson is the problem.
So I agree. They should not have done this somewhat discombobulated storyline.
They gave each story to a different person, and that was Kathleen Kennedy's fault.
So I will concede that point. That is that. But I still love him. But anyway.
Well, I think it shouldn't have been like Kathleen Kennedy hired Ryan Johnson and said, "You can do whatever you want." She should have said, "These things that he set up in the first movie, you have to respect on some level, not just."
So let's find out Rey's parentage. Okay, that's a big thing. People are going to care about that, Ryan. So put that down. Luke Skywalker's coming back in this one. Going to be a big thing. So make sure I agree. There should have been some outline there.
I mean, you got one of the best scenes at the end of The Force Awakens with Rey handing Luke the lightsaber. His old, technically was his father's lightsaber.
Yeah,
was a way to connect the whole thing to the original and the prequels, and
the very first scene of the next movie,
Luke throws the lightsaber away. It was like, no. I mean, even Mark Hamill was like, Luke was the most optimistic kid in the galaxy. Luke's a Jedi. They would never give up. And Ryan Johnson's like, nope. I don't care what you think. This is what we're going to do. And unfortunately,
it was exactly emblematic of the new director coming in and throwing the script away from the players, wasn't it? I mean, it was perfect.
To anyone who's watching this who has the ability to like make clips like that, please do that. Replace Luke with Ryan Johnson and the lightsaber with a script.
Yeah, the script from the last director,
right, from the previous movie.
Yeah.
All right. Long story short, movie's on Disney Plus. If you've never seen it, I don't know how you're still watching this. Go see it. All right. Let's put this one in for a landing with going around the room and tell me, did you learn anything this week? Or do you have any recommendations? And Don, you can go first.
I learned that they really do need to start focusing on Revan as far as the character.
I think so.
I would like to hear about that too.
Maybe even a whole new trilogy. I think, and Keanu Reeves needs to play him, and it's going to make you a whole lot of money, Disney. So,
and you like money,
right? And you like money. We know that. So yeah, get to it. Yeah, that's what I learned.
All right, John.
I didn't learn anything. I don't know. I'd say go see this movie. Seriously. Also, I guess we'll see what happens with was it Tales of the Empire? I'd like to see that movie too, or that series. So maybe we'll review that. And my other recommendation would be two anime, Windbreaker and The New Gate. Unfortunately, no very long.
Is Windbreaker about farting?
No. See that
I was just thinking of the clip that we saw of Colt 45.
The commercial.
I know. There's a lot of people that have, made such a comment. So, but no, it is about a kid who joins a new school, and it's it involves a lot of gangs, and he's joining the gang in the new school that protect the area around where their school is, and it's a lot of personality driven storyline where he's never been accepted before, and this is his story of how he comes to understand that he can be accepted. So it's a really good storyline, and there's some really great fight scenes. No magic, no nothing. This is just back streets of Tokyo. It's pretty cool. And then New Gate is just another interesting Kaiju number 8 is the other one I wanted to say. Kaiju number 8 is actually awesome. All right, if you want to go back to real anime stuff, I mean normal anime stuff. Anyway, that's it for me, Dave.
I learned two crucial things this week. Number one, if you have you bought a used MacBook and it's now 7 years old and you start having battery issues, make sure the damn thing stays plugged in, or it might die during a live stream. I also learned that Marcellus and Don would make really good friends because they're both sequel trilogy apologists. Okay.
Don?
He did. He went first.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
I can go get real quick though. I did learn that when Dave's MacBook goes down, me and John can carry the show for a little bit. So
yeah, I'm shocked.
I also and Dave has learned that he has given me no power over this, and we were as Don mentioned, we were just a glider, hoping we stayed up.
I will fix your access as soon as we get done. So my recommendations: if you made it this far in the show, please click that subscribe button, click that bell for notifications, so you can watch us when we go live on Sunday, and don't miss any of our other great content during the week. And then also please smash that like button so that really helps the algorithm and push your show out.
Nice.
I also recommend that you head on over to superheroespeak.com, where you can find the podcast every week, links to all our social media at the top of the page, and of course comic book reviews by both Don and Chris out there. And and what was the other thing I was going to say? I don't know. So on that note, as always, boys and girls, thanks for watching, and don't let your cape get caught in the door. Have a good week.